बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स। आज का जो हमारा लेक्चर है वो है रीडिंग पैसेज टू टेस्ट 4 एन इंट्रोडक्शन टू फिल्म साउंड, बुक 11। सबसे पहले हम हमेशा क्या करते हैं, इंट्रोडक्शन को पढ़ लेते हैं। उसके बाद हम लोग कीवर्ड्स को लर्न कर लेते हैं। डेट्स, मंथ्स, ईयर्स एंड नाउन्स। Though we might think of film as an essentially visual experience, we really cannot afford to underestimate the importance of film sound. A meaningful soundtrack is often as complicated as the image on the screen and is ultimately just as much as the responsibility of the director. The entire soundtrack consists of three essential elements: the human voice, sound effects, and music. These three tracks must be mixed and balanced so as to produce the necessary emphasis, which is in turn create desired effects. Topics which essentially refer to the three previously mentioned tracks are discussed. They include dialogue, synchronous and asynchronous sounds, effects and music. अब सबसे पहले हम लोग अपने क्वेश्चन नंबर 14 to 18 पे जाएंगे। Write the correct letter in boxes 14 to 18 on your answer sheet in the first paragraph. The writer makes a point that the director should plan the soundtrack at an early age in filming. फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में हमने बताया क्या बात किया उन्होंने। Wrong to overlook the contribution of sound to the artistry of films. The music industry can have a beneficial influence on sound in film. क्या म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री की यहाँ पे बात हुई या नहीं हुई? It is important for those working on the sound in a film to have sole responsibility for it. उन्होंने ऐसी भी कोई बात नहीं की। तो यहाँ पे हमारी जो फर्स्ट लाइन है, though we might think of film as an essentially visual experience, we really cannot afford to underestimate the importance of film sound. हम लोग इसको we might think a film as an essentially visual experience. We really cannot afford to underestimate the importance of film sound. हम उसको इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते. It would be wrong to overlook the contribution of sound to the artistry film. तो हमारा आंसर क्या है? B. One reason that the writer refers to Humphrey Bogart is to exemplify that. Humphrey Bogart किड, सबसे पहले हम देखेंगे Humphrey Bogart किधर है, और दूसरा ये हमें सबको पढ़ेंगे. The importance of the actor and the character appearing to have similar responsibilities. The audiences wish the actors are visually appropriate for their roles. The value of the actor having had similar feelings to the character. The audience preference for dialogue to be as authentic as possible. अब हम देखेंगे हम्फ्री बॉगर्ट किधर है. हम्फ्री बॉगर्ट, ये आ गया हम्फ्री बॉगर्ट सेकंड पैराग्राफ में. अब हम पढ़ेंगे कि कहता क्या है. Often with film characterization, the audience's previous little or no difference between the character and the actor. Character and the actor, इसमें ऑडियंस क्या करते हैं, कोई फ़र्क नहीं करते. Thus, for example, the actor Humphrey Bogart is the character Sam Spade. Film personality and life personality seems to merge. फिल्म पर्सनैलिटी एंड लाइफ पर्सनैलिटी सीम टू मर्ज, मतलब एक ही हो जाता है. तो हम अपना आंसर इस तरह देख लेते हैं कि वो एक्टर और करैक्टर दोनों को मिक्स कर रहे हैं, मर्ज कर रहे हैं, इकट्ठा कर रहे हैं. द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ द एक्टर एंड द करैक्टर अपीयरिंग टू हैव सिमिलर पर्सनैलिटी. सिमिलर का मतलब मर्ज. नेक्स्ट पे आ जाए ज़रा. इन द थर्ड पैराग्राफ द राइटर सजेस्ट दैट audiences are likely to be critical of film dialogue that does not reflect their own experience. Film dialogue that appears to be dull may have a specific purpose. Filmmakers vary considerably in the skill with which have they handle or dialogue. The most successful films are those with dialogue of highly quality. In the third paragraph, first, second, third, हमेशा ना इसका आंसर लास्ट पे ही आपको मिलता है. अब यहाँ से पढ़ लेते हैं. The inadequacy of human responses when compared with the magnificent technology created by man and the visual beauties of the universe. Technology created by man and visual beauties of the universe. यहाँ पे इंसानों की और कुदरत की बात की गई है। हम पीछे से पढ़ लेते। इन दिस वे द फिल्म मेकर वाज एबल टू पोर्ट्रे व्हाट थॉमस an introduction to film, the inadequacy of human responses when compared with the magnificent technology created by man and the visual beauties of the universe. सेकंड का आंसर हम लोगों ने क्या दिया है? ए। अब हम थर्ड का 16 का आंसर इन द थर्ड पैराग्राफ क्या कहता है? क्रिटिकल डायलॉग। फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड पैराग्राफ है। Inadequacy of human responses when compared with the magnificent technology created by man and the visual beauties of the universe. तो कॉमेडी ब्रिंगिंग अप बेबी, ये तो ब्रिंगिंग अप बेबी आ गया, हमारा आंसर इधर ही आ रहा है। हम इसको दोबारा देख लेते हैं। The viewer sees not an actor working with craft but another human being struggling with life. You to note that how dialogue is used and the very amount of dialogue uses varies widely among films. In the highly successful science fiction film, to the little dialogues was evident and most of it was banal and a little intrinsic interest in this way the filmmaker was able to portray what Thomas in the inadequacy of human responses when compared with the magnificent technology. Inadequacy कमी होती है human responses with compared magnificent technology created by man and the visual beauties of the universe. यहाँ पे क्या कहते हैं? inadequacy of human responses, लोग जो है वो रिस्पॉन्स नहीं करते। film dialogue that appears to be dull may have a specific purpose. ये आ गया इसका आंसर बी, मतलब ह्यूमन रिस्पॉन्स नहीं करते। व्हाट डज द राइटर सजेस्ट अबाउट ब्रिंगिंग अप बेबी? ब्रिंगिंग अप बेबी इसके बारे में क्या कहता है राइटर? On the other hand, presents practically non-stop dialogue leveled at breakneck speed. This use of dialogue underscored not only the dizzy quality of the character played by Catherine, but also the absurdity of the film itself and its humor, absurdity and thus humor. What is bounced from gauge to gauge and conversation to conversation. There is no time for audience reflection. मतलब बात के ऊपर बात करने जाना और ऑडियंस की रिफ्लेक्शन ना लेना। The plot suffers from the filmmaker's wish to focus on humorous dialogue. Dialogues to make नहीं है. There is a mismatch between the speed of the dialogue and the speed of actions. ऐसी भी कोई बात नहीं है. The nature of the dialogue emphasizes key elements of the film. Nature of the dialogue. आंसर हमारा क्या है? D. The writer refers to the click of a door to make the point that realistic sound are often used to give the audiences a false impression of events in the film, may be interpreted in different ways by different members of the audience, may be modified in order to manipulate the audience's response to the film, tend to be more significant in films presenting realistic situations. Click of a door. क्लिक किधर है? ये आ गया पैराग्राफ नंबर 5 में। क्या क्लिक ऑफ आ डोर। रियलिस्टिक साउंड्स क्या होती हैं? यहाँ से हम पढ़ेंगे, यहाँ से फॉर एग्जाम्पल द क्लिक ऑफ अ डोर बीइंग ओपन मे सिंपली सर्व टू कन्विंस द ऑडियंस दैट द इमेज पोर्ट्रेट इज रियल। convince the audience that the image portray is real, and the audience may only subconsciously note the expected sound. If the click of an opening door is part of an ominous action such as burglary, the sound mixer may call attention to the click with an increase in volume. This helps to engage the audiences in a moment's suspense. Answer क्या है? Used to give the audiences a false impression of events in the film may be interpreted in different ways by different members of the audience, may be modified in order to manipulate the response to the film. Modification की गई होती है इसमें ऑडियंसेस को अपनी तरफ लेके आने के लिए. तो हमारा आंसर क्या है? सी. क्वेश्चन नंबर 19 to 13. Do the following statements agree with the information given in passage 2? पहला ट्रू फॉल्स नॉट गिवन. क्वेश्चन नंबर 19 to 23 है. Audiences are likely to be surprised if a film lack a background. Audiences are likely to be surprised if a film lacks background music. ये आ गया background music. May aid viewer understanding by linking scenes. For example, a particular musical theme associated with an individual character may be repeated at various points in film in order to remind the audience of salient motifs or ideas. बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक की बात है तो ये हमारा आंसर क्या है? ट्रू है. बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक में एंटिसिपेट अ डेवलपमेंट इन अ फिल्म. म्यूजिक में एड व्यूअर अंडरस्टैंडिंग बाय लिंकिंग सीन्स. ये भी ट्रू है. बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक हैज़ मोर इफेक्ट on some people than on others. देन आ गया, इसको आप लोग वैसे ही नॉट गिवन कर दें. Background music may help the audiences to make certain connections between the film. Background music may help the audiences to make a certain connection within the film. Film sound comprises conventions and innovations. We have come to expect an acceleration of music during a car chases. May aid viewer by linking scene, for example, a particular music theme associated with the individual character. किसके साथ होती है? ये इंडिविजुअल कैरेक्टर के साथ मैच कर रही होती है. तो हमारा आंसर क्या है? कनेक्शंस विद द फिल्म. एडवेंचर्स टू मेक सर्टेन कनेक्शंस विद द फिल्म. तो आंसर क्या है हमारा? ट्रू. Audiences tend to be aware of how the background music is affecting them. Audiences tend to be aware of how the background music is affecting them. Audiences tend to be aware of how the background music is affecting them. Yeah. Our situation may be repeated at various points in a film in order to remind the audiences of salient motifs or ideas. हमारा आंसर क्या है? To be aware of how the background music is affecting them. ये हमारा फॉल्स है, उन्हें अफेक्ट नहीं करता ये. अब आज ज़रा क्वेश्चन नंबर 24 to 26 पे. इसमें देखो ज़रा क्वेश्चन A to E है. A to E. The audience's response to different parts of a film can be controlled. The audience's response to different parts of a film can be, क्या वो कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं? ये आप लोगों ने क्या करना है? करेक्ट एंडिंग करनी है इसकी. ये ट्रू फॉल्स नॉट गिवन नहीं है. द ऑडियंसेस रिस्पॉन्स टू डिफरेंट पार्ट्स ऑफ फिल्म कैन बी कंट्रोल्ड. different parts of a film can be controlled. Or the response to different parts of film can be controlled. The entire soundtrack consists of three essential ingredients: the human voice, sound effects, and music. These three tracks must be mixed and balanced as to produce the necessary emphasis, which in turn creates desired effects. तो हमारा आंसर यहाँ पे क्या आएगा? When the audience listens to the dialogue, if the film reflects the audience's own concerns, if voice, sound, and music are combined appropriately. हमारा आंसर क्या है? C. The feelings and motivations of characters become clear. Feelings and motivations become clear. Feelings and motivation expresses feelings and motivations. Let's start with dialogue, as is the case with stage drama. Dialogue serves to tell the story and expresses feelings and motivations of characters as well. Often with film characterization, the audiences perceive little or no difference between the character and the actor. हमारा आंसर क्या है? The feelings and motivation of characters become clear when the audience listens to the dialogue. आंसर हमारा क्या है? A. A character seems to be real person rather than an actor. When voice texture fit the performance, psychography and gestures, a whole and very realistic persona emerges. The viewer sees not an actor working at this craft but another human being struggling with life. तो हमारा आंसर क्या है? With the actor's appearance, voice and moves are consistent with each other. तो आंसर क्या है हमारा? E. ये था हमारा आज का लेक्चर। आप मेरे चैनल को लाइक करें, सब्सक्राइब करें, अपने फ्रेंड्स को शेयर करें। अगर किसी किस्म का कोई भी इशू हो तो आप मुझे टेक्स्ट कर सकते हैं, या आपको कुछ और नॉलेज गेन करना है तो आप मुझे मैसेज कर सकते हैं कि जो कि मैं आपके लिए अपलोड कर दूँ। शुक्रिया।